it's the ultimate cop out. Like, you know, you ask guys in this like still playing, who's the best defender ever, and they're like Petro, and they don't really know that. They haven't seen a lot of film. But I'll get back to that in a second. The playing on Team USA was just incredible. I had 2 cool experiences. I played in England, so I got to share being overseas and being in another country for the first time and winning a championship that way with Team USA, and then got to do it at Homewood. And just as you were saying it, it literally gave me chills. That night was so unbelievable. The place was so packed. All my family was there. All my friends were there. And there was so much pressure on us because Team USA hadn't lost in so long. But Canada was good, man. They were both real good. Gates, Chris Sanderson, who was an American goalie in the goal, you know, who played at Virginia. They were legit all over.
And he was standing on he stood on his head that game too.
Yep. And somehow, like, you know, we got off to that 11-2 lead, and I think it was 11-2. And how that game goes to overtime, it's like, I mean, I hate to be crude, but it's like a plane crash. Like, a bunch of things have to happen. Like, a lot of things have to go wrong. You have to be stupid on offense. You have to not play as hard. The other team has to make great plays. It's like the perfect storm happened. And then on Petro, I think he was, you know, he was definitely one of the best I've ever played against. Nicky Polanco, kind of
absolutely
guy. I played against him a lot more than Petro. But when I came, I also had such a cool and unique, like, I came in at the end of an era. So I got to play with these guys like Petro and John Tucker and Mike Morrill. And then I got to play all the way through the Powells and the Jalberts and the Hogans. And so I really was like a really good timing coming in, getting the end of one era and into the beginning of another. But he was unbelievable. He was right. He was big. He was 6'4" and long and rangy, so he could cover anybody. He generally threw a lot of takeaway checks, so he would play great individual team defense, but then he would also try to take the ball from you, which is kind of unique in today's lacrosse. And if you've ever heard him coach on the sideline, he's just got that like bear of a voice. He was way ahead of the game in like his communication skills and leadership on the field. So you would play against him and you would hear him the entire time. And then the last piece was that his stick was like, he played a bunch of years in the NLL.
Yeah. And
so his stick was unbelievable. He scored I played with him in the 94 World Games, and he scored a ton of goals. So he was incredible. And so I came out this like young punk from UMass. I was, 4 years younger than him. He was dominating the lacrosse world, and I was this Long Island punk. So I was like just taking him on every time I could. And he got the best of me sometimes, but we faced off in the club championship back then. I was playing for Team Long Island. He was playing for Mount Washington. My team won. I had 4-2. We were champs that year. And
there you go.
I didn't back down from him, even though he got me a bunch of times. Got me over the head with his lefty over the head. But he was great. Arguably, one of the best to ever play, really. And that's why he was so good. His stick skills, his communication.